Arguments often start small, but can quickly spiral out of control if we don't pay attention to the early warning signs. The first step to stopping arguments from escalating is to recognize when things are starting to heat up. Notice changes in tone, body language, or when voices begin to rise. If you sense tension building, pause for a moment and acknowledge it, either to yourself or out loud. This awareness gives you a chance to intervene before emotions take over and the discussion turns into a full-blown argument. By catching these signs early, you can redirect the conversation and prevent unnecessary conflict. When you feel yourself getting upset during a disagreement, it's crucial to stay calm. Take a few deep breaths and focus on slowing your heart rate. This simple act can help you regain control over your emotions and prevent you from saying something you might regret. Staying calm doesn't mean suppressing your feelings, but rather choosing to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. By modeling calmness, you also encourage the other person to mirror your behavior, which can help de-escalate the situation for both of you. Active listening is a powerful tool to prevent arguments from escalating. Instead of thinking about your next response while the other person is speaking, focus on truly understanding their point of view. Nod, maintain eye contact, and occasionally repeat back what you've heard to show you're engaged. This not only helps the other person feel heard, but also gives you a clearer understanding of their perspective. When people feel listened to, they're less likely to raise their voices or become defensive, making it easier to resolve disagreements peacefully. One of the quickest ways to escalate an argument is to use accusatory language, like you always or you never. Instead, try to express your feelings using I statements. For example, say I feel upset when, rather than you make me upset. This approach reduces defensiveness and keeps the conversation focused on your feelings rather than blaming the other person. It opens the door to a more productive dialogue and helps both parties feel respected and understood. Sometimes, the best way to stop an argument from escalating is to take a break. If you notice that emotions are running high and the conversation is going nowhere, suggest a timeout. Step away for a few minutes to cool down and collect your thoughts. This isn't about avoiding the issue, but about giving both sides a chance to reset. When you return, you'll likely find it easier to have a calm and constructive conversation. Recognizing and acknowledging emotions, both yours and the other person's, can help diffuse tension. If you sense anger, frustration, or sadness, name the emotion out loud. I can see that you're upset. This simple act validates the other person's feelings and shows empathy. When emotions are acknowledged, people often feel less defensive and more willing to work towards a solution together. Personal attacks and insults can quickly turn a disagreement into a heated argument. Focus on the issue at hand, not the person. Avoid name-calling, sarcasm, or bringing up unrelated past events. Keeping the conversation respectful helps maintain trust and makes it easier to find common ground. Remember, the goal is to resolve the issue, not to win the argument or hurt the other person. Nonverbal cues like crossed arms, eye-rolling, or aggressive gestures can escalate an argument even if your words are calm. Be mindful of your body language, keep an open posture, maintain gentle eye contact, and avoid threatening gestures. Positive body language can help create a safer space for honest communication and reduce the likelihood of misunderstandings. Many arguments escalate due to simple misunderstandings. If something isn't clear, ask questions or repeat what you think you heard. This helps ensure that both sides are on the same page and prevents assumptions from fueling the conflict. Clarifying misunderstandings early can stop arguments before they get out of hand. Not every disagreement needs to end in total agreement. Sometimes, the healthiest option is to agree to disagree. Respecting each other's perspectives, even when you don't see eye to eye, can prevent arguments from escalating. This approach shows maturity and keeps the relationship intact, even when opinions differ. Instead of dwelling on the problem or assigning blame, shift the conversation toward finding a solution. Ask, what can we do to fix this? Or, how can we move forward? This proactive mindset helps both parties feel empowered and reduces the emotional charge of the argument. Focusing on solutions rather than problems can quickly de-escalate tension and foster collaboration. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and see things from their perspective. When you practice empathy during an argument, you're more likely to understand the other person's feelings and motivations. This understanding can soften your own stance and encourage a more compassionate, less combative conversation. Empathy is a key ingredient in de-escalating conflicts and building stronger relationships. Healthy boundaries are essential for preventing arguments from getting out of control. If certain topics are too sensitive, or if you need space, communicate your boundaries clearly and respectfully. Let the other person know what is and isn't acceptable during a disagreement. Setting boundaries helps both parties feel safe and respected, making it easier to resolve conflicts without escalation. A well-timed joke or lighthearted comment can sometimes break the tension and help both parties relax. However, be careful not to use humor in a way that belittles the other person or dismisses their feelings. The goal is to lighten the mood, not to make fun of anyone. When used appropriately, humor can be a powerful tool for de-escalation. If you realize you've said something hurtful or made a mistake, don't hesitate to apologize. A sincere apology can go a long way toward repairing trust and calming emotions. It shows maturity and a willingness to take responsibility for your actions. Even a simple "I'm sorry" can help de-escalate an argument and pave the way for a more constructive conversation. Interrupting the other person can make them feel disrespected and unheard, which often escalates arguments. Practice patience by letting the other person finish speaking before you respond. This shows respect and allows for a more thoughtful, less reactive exchange. When both sides feel heard, it's much easier to resolve disagreements peacefully. Lowering your voice can have a calming effect during a heated discussion. Speaking softly signals that you're not a threat and encourages the other person to match your tone. This simple technique can help de-escalate arguments and create a more peaceful environment for resolving differences. It's easy to get distracted by past grievances or future worries during an argument. Try to stay focused on the present moment and the issue at hand. Avoid bringing up unrelated past events or making predictions about the future. Staying present helps keep the conversation productive and prevents old wounds from reigniting conflict. Even if you disagree overall, try to acknowledge any valid points the other person makes. This shows that you're listening and willing to consider their perspective. It can also help lower defenses and create a more collaborative atmosphere for problem solving. Avoid using sweeping statements like "you always" or "you never." These generalizations can make the other person feel unfairly judged and defensive. Stick to specific examples and focus on the current situation. This approach keeps the conversation grounded and prevents escalation. Open-ended questions invite dialogue and encourage the other person to share their thoughts and feelings. Instead of asking questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no, try asking, "How did that make you feel?" Or, "What do you think we should do next?" This approach fosters understanding and keeps the conversation moving in a positive direction. Before you respond in the heat of the moment, take a second to reflect on what was said. This pause allows you to choose your words carefully and avoid saying something you might regret. Reflecting before responding helps keep the conversation respectful and prevents escalation. Arguments often escalate when both sides are focused on winning rather than understanding. Shift your mindset from winning to resolving. Remember, the goal is to find common ground and maintain the relationship, not to come out on top. This approach reduces competitiveness and helps keep the conversation constructive. Positive language can help de-escalate arguments and create a more supportive atmosphere. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," try, "I see it differently." Using positive, non-confrontational language shows respect and encourages cooperation. It's a simple but effective way to keep disagreements from turning into fights. Everyone has certain topics or situations that trigger strong emotions. Recognize your own triggers and try to avoid them during sensitive conversations. If you notice a trigger coming up, take a step back and decide how to handle it calmly. Being aware of triggers helps prevent arguments from escalating unexpectedly. Taking care of your own emotional well-being can make it easier to handle disagreements without escalation. Make sure you're getting enough rest, eating well, and managing stress. When you feel balanced and healthy, you're less likely to react impulsively during arguments and more able to respond thoughtfully. If you notice that the conversation is becoming more constructive or that both sides are making an effort to listen, acknowledge this progress. Saying something like, "I appreciate that we're both trying to work this out," can reinforce positive behavior and encourage continued cooperation. If the other person raises their voice, resist the urge to match their volume. Instead, keep your tone steady and calm. This can help de-escalate the situation and signal that you're not interested in fighting. Maintaining a calm tone encourages the other person to do the same. Compromise is key to resolving disagreements without escalation. Be open to finding middle ground and making concessions when appropriate. This shows flexibility and a genuine desire to resolve the issue, which can help calm emotions and prevent arguments from getting out of hand. Taking a break during a heated argument can be helpful, but make sure to use timeouts wisely. Agree on a specific time to resume the conversation so that both sides know the issue will be addressed. This prevents avoidance and ensures that the conflict is resolved in a healthy way. Holding on to resentment from past arguments can make current disagreements more intense. Try to let go of old grudges and approach each conversation with a fresh perspective. This helps prevent escalation and allows for more productive, solution-focused discussions. Mindfulness techniques, such as deep breathing or focusing on the present moment, can help you stay calm during disagreements. Practicing mindfulness regularly makes it easier to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively, which is key to preventing arguments from escalating. It's natural for people to have different opinions and perspectives. Acknowledge these differences openly and respectfully. Recognizing that disagreement is normal can help reduce tension and prevent arguments from escalating into personal attacks. Trying to resolve an argument while distracted by your phone or other tasks can make things worse. Give the other person your full attention. This shows respect and helps prevent misunderstandings that can escalate the conflict. Reflective statements, such as "it sounds like you're saying," or "I hear that you feel," can help clarify the other person's perspective and show that you're listening. This technique can diffuse tension and keep the conversation on track. Assuming you know why the other person is acting a certain way can lead to misunderstandings and escalation. Instead, ask for clarification and give them the benefit of the doubt. This approach fosters trust and keeps the conversation constructive. When you notice the conversation drifting into blame or criticism, gently steer it back to finding solutions. Ask, "What can we do to make this better?" Staying solution-focused helps prevent escalation and keeps the discussion productive. Sometimes, the best way to prevent further escalation is to end the conversation, at least temporarily. If you realize that neither side is making progress or emotions are too high, suggest taking a break and revisiting the issue later. This can prevent hurtful words and allow both parties to cool down. If you find that arguments consistently escalate despite your best efforts, consider seeking outside help. This could be a trusted friend, mediator, or professional counselor. Sometimes, a neutral third party can offer valuable perspective and help both sides communicate more effectively. Everyone has a different style of handling conflict. Some people avoid it, others confront it head-on, and some try to compromise. Understanding your own style and the style of the person you're arguing with can help you navigate disagreements more effectively and prevent escalation. Expressing gratitude, even during disagreements, can help shift the mood and remind both parties of the positive aspects of the relationship. A simple "I appreciate you taking the time to talk about this" can go a long way toward de-escalating tension. After an argument, take time to reflect on what worked and what didn't. Learning from past experiences can help you handle future disagreements more effectively and prevent escalation. Growth comes from understanding and adapting your approach over time. Respect is the foundation of any healthy disagreement. Even when you strongly disagree, maintain a respectful tone and attitude. This helps keep the conversation civil and prevents arguments from escalating into personal attacks or lasting resentment. At the end of a difficult conversation, summarize any points of agreement or progress made. This reinforces positive outcomes and helps both sides feel heard and understood. Summarizing agreements can also prevent future misunderstandings and keep the relationship strong. Whenever possible, try to end disagreements on a positive note. Thank the other person for their time and willingness to talk things through. Ending positively helps repair any lingering tension and sets the stage for healthier communication in the future.